And sometimes I wonder why I love Claude Giroux so much. I'm kidding. I never question that. I love Claude Giroux. But if this man gets any type of hate after this game, it'll be absolutely ridiculous. But knowing someone will try to point out Giroux had a 3-point night, but he didn't score a goal. So that's probably the reason. That's probably the type of hate he's going to get after this game, knowing the Giroux haters out there. But no, Claude Giroux should not get any slander after this game for the performance that he put up tonight. His first game back, his first game played in 2.5 weeks, being diagnosed with COVID, him saying the symptoms a couple of days into it got a little bad, but then he started feeling better after a few more days into his COVID situation. But stepped on the ice yesterday, was good to go for today's game. 3 points, 3 assists on the first 3 Flyers goals in this game. Just an absolute, actually not the first 3 goals, the 3 out of the 4 goals, I'll just say. I thought it was the first 3, but he got an assist on the last Flyers goal. So, but still, just overall, great night for Claude Giroux. Absolutely great night for him. And honestly, this game was very exciting. This was a very exciting game from top to bottom. Well, from beginning to end, actually. Back and forth action from both sides. Flyers pumping it early. Absolutely pumping it early on the Rangers. Getting chances, forcing turnovers, just getting in on the forecheck, making the Rangers look completely uncomfortable. And granted, too, both teams are missing players still. The Rangers, they're missing K'Andre Miller, they're missing Jacob Trouba, they're missing Kakko, and they're missing Artemi Panarin due to his situation. K'Andre Miller and Kaapo Kakko are in COVID protocol, and Jacob Trouba, he's injured, I think, for 4 to 6 weeks. So they're missing some important guys there, especially their top guys on the blue line. But the Flyers, they're still missing guys too. Even though they got G back from this game, they're still missing 5 people. Braun got back on the ice today. He probably won't be able to play until the weekend. Well, he wasn't playing today, so I'm assuming he's going to get ready for the back-to-back against Buffalo this weekend. You'll still got Jake Voracek, Travis Konechny, Scott Law, and Oscar Lindblom. So maybe in the next few days, you'll see those guys eventually getting off COVID protocol. I think Voracek and Konechny are the next guys that are expected to come off protocol. So we're just going to have to wait and see in the next few days. But still, just that beginning of the game, the Flyers were pumping. It was the best I've seen them play like that all season. They were getting in the forecheck, making the Rangers. I understand the Rangers didn't have their top guys, but still, the Flyers were getting their pressure in the offensive zone, and they were generating a lot of chances. They were getting Shesterkin having to make some saves. The Flyers getting some breaks off turnovers. It was great. And then the Rangers, especially in this game, well, both teams honestly, with the penalties in this game. The refs were very happy with the whistles today. So, yeah, there was a lot of penalties in the game. A lot of penalties. And the Rangers, they get a too many men on the ice penalty early into this. The Flyers' power play, honestly, in this game didn't look that bad. It didn't. They were generating chances. They actually had a shoot-first mentality for once. They were getting pucks on it. The first power play, they were setting up some stuff. Couldn't get anything to go, but you saw something there. There was something happening in that power play today. And especially when that power play ended, you had Claude Giroux on the second unit, and the second unit out on the ice. Once the penalty kill expired, they were still moving the puck around, generating some passes, and you got Shane Gostisbehere on the point with a no-look pass over to Erik Gustafsson, who one-times it, and it goes by Shesterkin, and it's a 1-0 Flyers lead. And Shesterkin, especially early in this game, had to make some big saves. And throughout the entire game, Shesterkin had to make big saves. Shesterkin was great tonight. Even though the Flyers scored 4 goals, I could only maybe say one of the goals was probably Shesterkin's fault. But still, Shesterkin was flat out phenomenal today. Same thing with Brian Elliott. He had to make big saves as well. The only thing I would criticize with Brian Elliott in tonight's game, a little bit iffy on the rebounds today. A little bit iffy. But Moose had to come up with some huge saves. There were a couple of breakaways by Zibanejad that he had to stop, especially both of them were on the penalty kill, or on the power play, actually. And then the Rangers going on so many power plays, especially late in the game, Moose had to come up clutch. And yeah, just both goaltenders, I would say, played really well today. The Flyers were just getting so many chances. They were going to score on those eventually. And majority of their chances that they did, they looked really good on. But after this first goal by Gustafsson, it's his first in the Flyers uniform, assisted by Giroux and Gostisbehere. And the Flyers took a penalty in the defensive zone. Sean Couturier takes a hook, and the Rangers go into the power play. And they really don't take that long because Kevin Hayes tries to shoot it off the faceoff to clear the puck. Doesn't work out. Rangers win the draw. They get the puck up to the front of the net. Elliott leaves up a juicy rebound, and there's Chris Kreider wide open right in front of Moose. No one there around him. No one there to get him out of the crease. He gets the rebound, buries it into the open net, and it's a 1-1 game. Chris Kreider was on fire tonight. He had a hat trick. So, yeah, so basically throughout the first, I would say, half of this game, the first 2 periods, the special teams were the major push in this game. Both teams' power plays were, I would say, electric tonight. The Flyers had so many power play chances, but hey, at least they scored on 2 of them. And then the Flyers, late in this period too, the Rangers, like I said, getting into that penalty trouble. Getting into it. Got a slashing on Brodzinski. And then you get Shane Gostisbehere. It's the second unit out there once again. Claude Giroux has to win a face-off, and then they set up. The shot initially goes on to Shesterkin. The puck comes out into the slot. Nolan Patrick is eventually trying to go into the slot to get this bucket, and here comes Shane Gostisbehere out of nowhere. Just sneaks his stick in here under Patrick's, and he shoots the puck, and it goes by Shesterkin into the 2-1 Flyers lead going in to the intermission. So, back and forth on both sides. Flyers getting a ton of chances, and I mean a ton of chances. I think they outshot the Rangers 15-9 in this period. They were just getting shots. I was like, whoa, the Flyers are shooting, and they're out shooting the opposition by a lot? Where has this been? I understand. Rangers are missing personnel too, so I'm not going to look into it too deeply, but it's a step in the right direction that they're shooting the puck, and they came into this game with that mentality. Maybe something from the Boston game that, okay, we got embarrassed in that game. Let's pick up the pace here, boys, because definitely that Lake Tahoe game was an embarrassment. It was definitely embarrassing. So coming to this game with a different mentality, we got to bounce back, and let's take down a team that's missing a lot of personnel. So they did that exactly today. We go into the second period. Flyers jumping out early once again, getting those chances, and they once again draw a penalty. And this is, oh my god, this spree of penalties by the Rangers in this period. Oh my goodness. You first get a hooking penalty on Brendan Smith, and you get this great passing play by the first unit, Joel Farabee, Sean Couturier, to James Van Riemsdyk. Couturier has it in the back of the ice. Here comes Joel Farabee. And then he finds a wide open James Van Riemsdyk cross crease. And then he puts the one-timer past Shesterkin. And it's a 3-1 Flyers lead. And then the Rangers, they didn't stop taking penalties this period. The next 2 penalties by the Rangers, I'm just like, what? They take a penalty right after this, a high stick by Gauthier. And it's a power play for the Flyers once again. But then directly after that, they take a delay of the game. Pavel Buchnevich with a delay of the game penalty. So the Flyers had a power play for 5-on-3 for a minute and a half. And I'll give it to the Rangers. The Flyers were pumping on that 5-on-3. They were getting shots. Shesterkin had to make this one great glove save on Gostisbehere. People blocking shots. It was just the Rangers. I'll give it to the penalty killer because the Flyers had all the chances in the world. They just couldn't find the back of the net. Give it to the Rangers penalty kill in that 5-on-3 and Shesterkin because he had to make some huge saves. And the Rangers, the 3 guys that were out on the ice for each of those shifts, they were blocking shots and they were taking the shooting lanes away from the Flyers. But the Flyers, they got their shots on there. That power play looked fantastic. It was all but the finish, sadly. And then, and then sadly after that, the Flyers eventually do take another penalty. It's Connor Bunnaman with an interference in the defensive zone once again on Alexis Lafreniere, and it was a really dumb penalty to take. Got in his way while getting to the puck, and it leads to a power play for the Rangers. And then once again, what do you know? It's Chris Kreider when you got Mika Zibanejad wide open on the left side, and you get Chris Kreider basically in the same spot once again in the blue paint. Zibanejad puts the pass over into the blue paint. Kreider buries it. 3-2 game. And basically all of Kreider's goals in this game, they were all in the same exact spot. Him standing in the blue paint, waiting for the puck to come to him. Whether it was a rebound, or whether it was a pass, or even the puck going off of the post. He was there in the blue paint to clean up the mess. And that's how he scored all of his goals today. And you can tell from that power play goal, the Rangers got a little bit of momentum. Especially after killing the 5-on-3. They get their power play, they scored a goal, then generating some chances. But then Joel Farabee has this breakaway. It looked like he was at the end of the shift too, but he had a breakaway. And he decided to pass backwards to Sean Couturier, who honestly Cooch should have shot as well. But that play didn't turn into anything. Joel Farabee, you need to shoot on that, buddy. I love you. I love you whatsoever, but that was a dumb play to pass it back to Coots. We had So many breakaways, especially late in this game. But that one, Joel needs to take it and shoot the puck. He eventually got another breakaway later in the third period, but we'll get into that later. But he needs to pick the puck up and he needs to shoot it. You cannot be dropping the puck back when you have all of that space to skate to the net. But you get the second line out there. G, Hayes, and Patrick. And I honestly believe that was the best line for the Flyers tonight. That line was everywhere on the ice. And putting Nolan Patrick on the wing, Alain Vigneault wanted to get Patrick, get his gears going a little bit. Putting him on the wing takes pressure off of him from being a center, and he can focus more on the offensive side of the game. And Patrick, honestly, he didn't have that bad of a game. That line was great tonight. And this line was the reason that the next goal was scored by the Flyers. You got Claude Giroux getting another assist on this one. And Kevin Hayes, oh my goodness! What was this? Yeah, Claude Giroux handing it over to Kevin Hayes. He's circling down the left side. He's basically on the red line on a bad angle. And he somehow finds Twine to get it above Shesterkin. What? How does he find that? And you can even tell from his celebration, he was just like, how did that go in? The way he was just pumping fists. He was like, how the hell did that go in? He wasn't even showing off either. Yeah, I got that. I would love him to show, yeah, I got that goal. I managed to put it top shelf, but he really just looked like, how the hell did that go in? And I was questioning that too. And that's really the only, I would say, goal that I would blame on Shesterkin, but you can also just credit it to a great shot by Kevin Hayes, because Shesterkin was unbelievable in tonight's game. So the Flyers go into the intermission up 4-2. But the Flyers do take a penalty at the end of the second period. Carson Twarynski, his first game this season, I think it is his first game this season, forechecking into the offensive zone, and he boards a guy into at the end. And yeah, you could clearly tell that the defender stopped a little bit before he got to the boards, but it's still a penalty nonetheless, and it's a stupid one to take at the end of the period. And the penalty kill, they do manage to kill off whatever is left of the period. I think the Rangers only got, 20-something seconds left going into the third, I think. So he got out of the period still up 4-2. But the Rangers had a different pace in the third period. They came out flying, especially on the beginning of the period. Oh my God, Kreider almost had a chance to get the hat trick early in the third period. He was wide open for a breakaway, and he missed the net. I was just like, what the hell happened there? And then the Rangers, they continue the buzz. Continue. And then you got Blackwell, who honestly gave the Flyers problems in the last game they played against the Rangers. Somehow he gets this pass off. He's coming down the right side of the ice in the offensive zone, gets to almost the red line, throws the biscuit into the middle of the crease. This pass somehow goes through. It goes off one of the skates of the Rangers that's in front in the crease, goes off of the post, and right to the stick of Kreider, who buries it into the empty net for his hat trick. So it's a 4-3 game. The Rangers are buzzing, and the Flyers are sitting back a little bit. So I was just like, okay, can we not sit back, please? Can we not do this? Because it's a 4-3 game, and you just allow Kreider to get a hat trick, and this is the second hat trick you allowed in back-to-back games. The outdoor game to Pasternak, and now this game to Kreider. So, yeah, you're sitting back a little bit at the start of the period. But I wouldn't say the Rangers, they had momentum for a good stretch here. They did. And then the Flyers, they eventually did take another penalty halfway into this period. It was Joel Farabee off an offensive zone chance. Couturier, they were forcing turnovers, and then Joel Farabee got the stick in there for a hooking. So the Rangers went to the power play. Penalty kill came up huge. And then you got this stretch of breakaways for the Flyers. This impressive stretch of breakaways. You got Raffl, I think this was on the penalty kill. You got the breakaway. Puts the shot on Shesterkin, and he saves it. The penalty gets killed. Farabee comes out of the box. They stretch him out for a breakaway. He tries to go glove side, and Shesterkin was just ready for that the entire time. Makes the great glove save on that. And then you get so many minutes later, not even minutes, I would say seconds later, Claude Giroux, wide open on the left side, he gets his own mini breakaway as well. And he hits the post. It was just like, not even a stretch, I would say, of a minute and a half to 2 minutes. The Flyers had 3 breakaways, technically. And then G got another breakaway in this period as well. He stripped someone on the back check. He took the puck away from him, got in there for a mini breakaway, would have scored if it wasn't for the penalty that the Rangers took. And he got Shesterkin moving. I think G would have beaten him if he wasn't penalized. So the Flyers go to the power play. They don't score, sadly, but still, they go to the power play. The power play still looks decent, I would say. And then the Flyers, I would say for the rest of the game, they were still getting their chances. They were playing a lot better than they did at the start of the period, but you could tell the Rangers, they were starting to gain some stuff, but they were still making mistakes along the way. And then you get to the end stages of the period, and I would say for the Rangers, this was ugly. I would say this was a very bad end of the period, end of the game for the Rangers, because they tried pulling Shesterkin. They couldn't get pucks in deep. They couldn't force a face-off in the offensive zone, and then you got Michael Raffl in the Ranger zone, basically by himself behind the net. He tries to do a wraparound to get it into the empty net. He can't bury it, and then the Rangers, they still can't get the puck down the zone. And then when they finally get it into the Flyers zone, it turns into a too many men on the ice penalty for the Rangers. So basically, everything that could have gone wrong for them went wrong. The only thing that didn't go wrong was the Flyers didn't score in the empty net. So the Flyers got the power play in the final seconds of that period, and that's how your game ends. So Claude Giroux gets a 3-point night, and Chris Kreider gets a hat trick. Brian Elliott was great in this game. He stopped 24 pucks out of 27 shots. Stars in this game, Shane Gostisbehere was the third star. Gostisbehere was great in this game. I would actually say that. Kreider was your second star. G was your first star. Claude Giroux was brilliant in this game. He was everywhere on the ice. I think he had over 7 shot attempts in this game. Or it was shot attempts or scoring chances, because he was everywhere. Forcing turnovers, making these electric plays. He was doing everything on the ice today, and winning faceoffs as well. She was everywhere. So, good game. Great game by the Flyers. Very entertaining. Great way to bounce back from the embarrassingness that was Lake Tahoe. And now you got another 2 days off before you have a back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday against the Buffalo Sabres. And hopefully during this 2-day stretch of off days is where you can get some more players back. Hopefully that means you can get Jake Voracek and Travis Konechny. I'm not really sure if that's going to mean Scott Laughton and Oscar Lindblom as well, but I would most likely expect you're going to get Justin Braun back as well. He's definitely going to be ready for the weekend. So hopefully you can also get him back, Voracek, and Konechny back by the weekend. Scott Laughton and Oscar Lindblom, they're maybes, but I would assume those three of Braun, Voracek, and Konechny. Hopefully. But Braun actually is not hopefully. Braun is most likely a definite. So your hopefuls are Voracek and Konechny. So got that game, those stretch of games over the weekend for the back-to-back. And then I think actually next week, going into March, you have 3 straight road games against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that's definitely going to be a tough stretch for them. Their first game's against Pittsburgh with Ron Hextall as the general manager. And speaking of the Pittsburgh Penguins, I'll get into this a little bit before we end out the video. So earlier today, well, this actually happened yesterday as well. The Flyers put defenseman Mark Friedman on waivers. And then today, he was actually at practice today for the Flyers. But before the waiver claim period was up, he actually got claimed on waivers by the Pittsburgh Penguins. And that just set some of Flyers Twitter off a little bit. A lot of people really just overreacting of the entire move. And I think this move was really to send Mark Friedman down to the Phantoms. Chuck Fletcher probably didn't expect him to get picked up. Or this was a move to put him on the taxi squad as well. But I can understand the fact that, yeah, you lost him for nothing. I can definitely understand that fact. But people are making this seem like it's the end of the world. I think it also ties to the fact that it's Ron Hextall with the Penguins, and he picked up a guy that was waived by the Flyers. And Mark Friedman is a Hextall guy. Hextall drafted him in his first year as a Flyers GM. So there's ties there. There is. But the way people are making this seem like it's the worst move possible, and this is the worst look for the Flyers. Mark Friedman has played in 11 career NHL games. At best, he is a 6th defenseman in this league. Yeah, I can understand what he brings to the table. He brings a physicality. He does that. But what else does he really bring? He's not really an offensive gifted defenseman. Yeah, he can move the puck. He can use his speed, and he does have physicality. But at best, I only see him as a 6th defenseman in this league. Maybe even a 5th. That's really only the way I see it. And he really wasn't getting any ice time over Haig and Gustafsson. And I know people despise Gustafsson, but Friedman wasn't winning those ice minutes, apparently, from the coaching staff. And that's why he was getting benched. And I would assume the wave was supposed to send him down to the Phantoms so he can actually get some playing time. But this move isn't the end of the world. And if, like, people say, oh, you lost him for nothing, and you could have traded him somewhere to get something, the best you probably would have gotten is a 6th or a 7th round pick. And really, what is a 6th or a 7th round pick if the guy is NHL caliber? A guy that's, what, 4 or 5 years away from actually even making the NHL roster? So I don't see this as a huge loss for the team, the way some people are making it out to be. I wish all the best of luck to Friedman and his chance with the Penguins. He's definitely going to be getting some ice time with them, because when you do get claimed off waivers, you have to be on the NHL roster. And the Penguins, they definitely are missing some defensemen due to injury. So he is going to get some playing time. But some people are making it out to seem it's the end of the world, and I frankly don't believe it is. So that's where I'm going to leave it off. Like I said, best of luck to Mark Friedman. Hopefully gets all the chances in the world with the Penguins. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it off at. Great game today by the Flyers. Great game by Calude. Giroux. Great game overall. Just a great game. There were some bits that were frustrating, especially the penalties, and the penalty kill is still very atrocious. It really is. But it is what it is at this point. So, what are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on Claude Giroux's performance, Moose's performance, and what are your thoughts on the Mark Friedman thing? So I want to hear your thoughts on all of that. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I am a part of. Their links will be in the description below. Don't forget to check out the Fire Up Podcast merchandise website. That link will also be in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time.